Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we're kicking off a massive 14-week biological journey designed especially for you 7th graders. We're going to be zooming all the way in on the invisible, microscopic building blocks of life and then scaling right back up to the complex, living ecosystems sitting outside your window. Okay, let's dive into this. So, here's our roadmap. We'll start with hidden building blocks, look at how form fits function, meet the invisible microbes, uncover their massive impacts, and finally, explore plant structures. Before we get completely bogged down in vocabulary, I actually want you to think of yourself as a biological detective. Your main mystery for the first half of this journey is this: how do structures actually help living things survive and reproduce? With every single thing we look at, I want you to ask yourself, what is this built to do? Section 1. Hidden building blocks. Zooming in on the foundation of life. Over the next few weeks, you won't just be memorizing a bunch of random facts. You're actually going to be cracking the code on how cells operate, figuring out how traits get handed down through generations, and learning how scientists somehow make sense of the massive chaotic variety of life on Earth. Now, what's really interesting about this is that cells are essentially the ultimate biological blueprints. They aren't just empty, microscopic little bricks. They're these bustling, living factories. They literally contain all the vital instructions needed to build and operate you, a towering redwood tree, or even a tiny bacterium. But how do those cellular factories actually know what to build? Well, enter genetics. That's the ultimate instruction manual. It's the secret code deciding your eye color or, say, the exact shape of a bird's beak so it can find food. Section 2. Form fits function. How biological parts are built for survival. So the crucial point is this: a biological structure's physical form completely dictates its function. Just look at your own body right now. The structure of your hand is absolutely perfectly formed for grasping objects, right? The structure of your teeth is perfectly shaped for chewing food. In biology, form and function are really just two sides of the exact same coin. Every single part, no matter how tiny, is perfectly sculpted for its specific job. We'll spend the first 9 weeks of our journey looking inward at cells, but then we're going to seamlessly scale up. We're taking those foundational rules of biology and applying them outward to the incredibly diverse world around us. Which brings us to our next major mystery. How can very small or even incredibly simple organisms have massive effects on ecosystems and humans? We're shifting our focus to things you literally can't see with the naked eye, but that change your world every single day. Section 3. Meet the invisible microbes, the hidden world of tiny, powerful organisms. Here, the game completely changes. We're going to compare invisible microbes against highly visible plants. We'll uncover the wild differences between the microbes that make us sick and the ones that literally keep us alive, and we'll connect it all back to how living things adapt to their environments over this 5-week block. Let's define the invisible suspects we're investigating: microbes. These are extremely small, often single-celled organisms, and the diversity here is just mind-blowing. We aren't just talking about one single thing. We're talking about bacteria, viruses, protists, and fungi. They each operate entirely differently, yet they all fall under this massive microscopic umbrella. Section 4. Massive impacts. How tiny things completely change the world. And this brilliantly illustrates a key point. It's so easy to just think, oh, germs are bad. But microbes actually live a double life. Yes, for sure, disease microbes are harmful and can disrupt biological systems, but on the flip side, beneficial microbes are the totally unsung heroes supporting global ecosystems. I mean, there are literally billions in your gut right now helping you digest your food. We absolutely could not survive without them. Let's see how this builds when we contrast these tiny wonders with something massive. On one hand, you have microscopic single-celled bacteria. On the other, you have complex, multicellular plants with highly specialized roots and leaves. The really cool part? The exact same biological rules govern both the invisible bacteria on your desk and the giant oak tree growing in your backyard. Which leads us to Section 5, plant structures, adapting to thrive in specific environments. This is where that concept of structure and function from our very first weeks comes entirely full circle. Plants have evolved incredible structural features. The stems, the leaves, the roots, literally none of it is random. A prickly cactus has a totally different physical structure than a floating lily pad, right? That's because it has brilliantly adapted to survive a harsh desert environment, its form-fitting function playing out right there in the wild. So, looking back at our timeline, you can really see the journey. From laying the groundwork with cells and genetics in week 1 to mastering structure and function by week 9, all the way to seeing those exact same rules govern both microbes and complex plants by week 14. The micro perfectly, seamlessly scales up to the macro. I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. You aren't just observing this biological world from the outside, you are literally made of it. So how does your own cellular structure connect you to the invisible microbes and the complex plants sharing your ecosystem right this very second? Think about that as you dive into this incredible life science explainer.